James Mele from the Meat Room, conducting his salami demonstration for us today. He was our head judge earlier today for the salami competition.
Thanks, Guy. Thanks very much. First and foremost, I'd like to thank the Euston Club for having us out here today, and Guy to set up his, the inaugural Euston Salami Festival. So, well done, Guy. It's by all accounts so far, it's been fantastic. So, guys, we're going to make some salami today. I'll get a couple of people come up and help make with this salami demonstration. Generally speaking, anyone here made salami before? So, any questions you've got? We don't have any secrets at the Meat Room. I believe in keeping this tradition going, and there's sort of like festivals through this that we keep these things happening. So it's important, that we make it as best the product we can. So any questions at all, please don't be shy to ask. Now, pork from the Meat Room ourselves, we're using generally female pigs, so at least 120, 130 kilos. When you're making salami, you want a pig that's actually lived, not just been in a concrete cage. Ours are out in the field. They're doing what pigs do. They're out there rooting up the ground, doing they're building up their muscle and strength, and they're reflecting the salami. So I think a happy pig is a good salami. So for us, that's important. Today, we've got some pork here I've already minced. I don't think it's necessary to sort of do a demonstration on mincing. Generally, depending on the salami, where it's come from, what area, they say down south of Italy, it'll be a sort of a coarser plate. Up north, it can be a coarse plate, but also a finer plate with the ratio of fat would be somewhere in the vicinity of 20 to 80%. So 20% fat, 80% of meat. You can go up as high as 30%, but you'll find it does get a little bit too much fat in there, but you definitely need fat, and we sort of found with the judging today, there's a couple there that weren't overly a lot of fat in there, so it actually tends to dry the salami out. So it's imperative you have that fat ratio, and you get that right, and you'll get a much better tasting salami. So fat is flavour, that's the mantra you want to live by. Now we've got salt. We're going to make our calabrese styles. I think a few faces have recognised, have tried the calabrese one. So this is what we're going to make today. So if you're making a home situation, salt, you can use starter cultures and nitrates. We won't go too far into that, but the traditional way of making salami was salt, pepper, and then your spices. So generally speaking, we have a 3% salt per kilo. So you'd have we've got three kilos here. That's 90 grams of salt per kilo. Pepper would be about 4 to 5 grams per kilo. 4 grams of chili per kilo, and I'm happy to give you this recipe afterwards if you want to come and see me. And about 5 grams of fennel, just to sort of give that a nice little fennel kick, and a good splash of red wine that we've kindly donated from Trentham Estate. So, and we found it with a few salamis, they weren't mixed enough. So you want to get a good mix in there. When you're making salamis, traditionally winter time, it's cold. You really, some people might have a warm room, but you really want to keep everything cold. You fill it cold, you mince it cold, so you don't get smearing and your fat starts to dissolve into the meat. So just mixing your dry ingredients through, you can just sort of see that there, it's quite loose. And we're looking for a real good bind in the salami. So I'm going to put some red in there, some red wine. Again, it's a personal preference as to what flavours you put in. You can put a white wine, you can put a red wine in. I'm pretty sure we tasted some sherry, maybe some Armagnac today in some of the salami. So it's what you've either tradition or something you want to try with. So that's how it comes about. Now, pepper paste, we're putting about half a jar of this for the size that we put the batch we're making. That just gives it a nice red colour and a nice bit of flavour as well. So that's that there. I'm trying to use as much Australian produce as we can. This is made down in Victoria. Good friends of ours, so I like to try and keep with this, with our pork. Try and keep our friends involved. So people sort of, you can see the bread makers, they'll fold the meat over, and they're very soft with it. You've actually got to be quite vigorous, pushing your meat through, sort of like that claw-like action. So you can really get that meat to bind, and that's the important part. This is where you make your salami. I mean, the pork's important, everything's important, but if you don't mix that meat properly, you really don't have anything. You've got really just a dry, crumbly, dry textured salami. So it's important that you keep it, you're mixing it properly, and it might take you a good 3 or 4 minutes. I mean, this is not traditional salami weather, but I mean, with a view like this behind us, how could you go wrong, really? It's quite a great spot. So just getting in all the corners, keeping one hand clean, and just pushing that meat through, and really vigorous action. You can sort of start to see already, that meat's starting to bind already. Just from that little bit of action there. Folding it over itself, and you start to see all the proteins in the meat are starting to bind. So you're really going to get that really good bind on your salami. So pretty much mixed. Now a little test. You'll start to see fat smearing on your hand with a bit of pepper, and it start to stick to your hand. Or just get a walnut sized piece of meat, pat it down like a little patty, and if you can do that, you know it's going to work, and you're guaranteed that that's going to work really well for you. So that's your little test to know how do I know it's ready, especially if you're making salami for the first time. Righto, you want to hold that for me, mate? And what's your name?
Toby.
Big round of applause for Toby. Thank you, Toby. You made salami before? You have. Excellent. Righto, so you're making a cannonball size. Roughly, it's a fairly big one actually. Just hold that nice and firm for me, mate. You're going to put this into the container, and you've got to really force it in because you don't want air in there. This is it, with this making salamis, you'll find if you don't get that force in there, you won't get that good bind with your salami again. So just tapping that down with the back of my hand. So loading our cannon from the front to the back. We've got our nozzle. Now casings, with salami casings, we use a collagen one, we use naturals. Just for the meat room itself, we use a collagen casing purely because of the consistency. Using natural casings, you'll find they have a tendency to get different thicknesses, and when we're trying to cure the salami, when we're going by weight loss, you really need to have that consistent sort of shape. So there's nothing wrong with naturals. I quite like using naturals for myself, but for the meat room itself, we're using the collagen. So that's just made from the hide of a cow, and they shape them up into that size there. So we'll put that over the top. So just as we start to bring the meat up, we'll start to see with a clear nozzle where the meat's getting to. We'll get there eventually. That's all the air that's coming out. So again, there's a little back vent on these sausage fillers or salami fillers. Stop there, mate. So I've got that there, just a little prick there, just to sort of get any further air that's out of there. Now Toby will just crank that nice and slowly. A little bit faster, mate. And what you're looking for, if you want to come in a bit closer, I don't know if you really get an idea, you want to see the meat swirl around that salami there to get a really good fill. So that's important. Keep coming, mate. Okay, we'll stop there. Now, traditionally, most sort of Italian families would have someone there, pass it on to the next person, they tie it up, and they tie the salami off. By the end of the day, your hands are all cut, and it's not ideal. So I'll show you how we tie ours up. We'll just fill a couple more up. For us, it's one piece of string, just damping it down. Now, it's important to get all your meat pushed forward. That's where it's got to go. So, getting your thumb right there, pushing and twisting it up, and you can sort of see how it's already got the shape there quite nicely. We've got our string there, so we're doing a half hitch first. So 1 and 2. That's basically a half hitch, and that ties your salami off. Now we need somewhere to hang it from, so we'll make a loop. Back to the start again with a half hitch. Now just at this stage here, you can prick it. You can sort of see there's a few air gaps in there. You want to try and get those out. So just running the pricker over it. And then I've got fairly well filled salami, now it's tied up there, but we're also going to just put some pressure points on there. So it's just 1, 2 and 3 over the top. Same again, so we'll probably put 3 loops in there. Now it's got to be nice and straight. I remember my grandfather, if I didn't get the knot straight, it'd whack across the back of the head and you cut the knots and they start again. So it's a little bit OCD from that. And that's just gone a little bit skew-if, so just bringing that down. There's your salami there, so you can sort of see you've got your loop to hang it off. Now, curing wise, obviously up here you've got a lot of farm sheds, garages. They actually sort of, that weight there would be probably 500-600 grams. I'd take a weight off that, hang it in the garage. You don't want too much air going through, maybe leaving a window slightly ajar. Take your car out, don't sort of smoke it with your car fumes unless you sort of like that benzene sort of flavour. But yeah, it's that size there, probably 6 to 7 weeks, and you have your salami ready. So it's not a bad little process. That's how we make it in the meat room. All our salamis, it's all handmade, so it's quite a process. I think it takes about a minute to do, just to tie one salami off and get it ready to go into the maturation room. That's it, Pete. Well done. Excellent. Round of applause for Pete. Thanks, mate. So, guys, that's pretty much the demonstration over and done with. But if you'd like to ask any questions, please feel free to come up and have a chat with me. Once again, thanks to the Euston Club and Guy. Thanks, Guy.
Just on behalf of everybody here today, sorry mate, I'd like to thank James. He's got a dirty hand. Yeah. No, and thank you. I think I'm overwhelmed by the response to the day. Thanks to everyone that's come out, and we'll be doing spooches later on. But yeah, thanks to James. He's done a great job. As I said, our head judge this morning at the competition, and he's come out and done a bit of a demonstration for us today. So hopefully you've all got something out of it.
You homemade salami.
Yeah, no, to make salami. It's not that hard, is it?
Good on you. Thanks, guys. Thank you.